Welcome back to another episode of Man Cave Movie Night. We are excited to be talking about some movies today. Isn't that fun?
Oh, yay, movies.
We are
Yay,
talking about
podcast.
movies. It's a movie podcast. We're talking about movies. But first, we're going to talk about movies in the form of a game.
A game? We're playing a game?
We're going to be playing a little
Yay.
game. And this is a game that you, who are listening, can play along with. So the way the game works is I am either going to give you the name of a movie or a year in history. And if I give you the movie, you have to give me the year that it came out. And if I give you a year, you have to name a movie that came out that year. And so the years, I'm not just going to say like 1901. I'm going to give you a year where a significant movie came out so that you can get those brain gears churning. And it's
Okay.
like, oh, what's a
Cool.
80s movie maybe that came out? And all the movies that I give you will be movies that you've seen, more than likely. It's not going to be like, hey, when did David Fincher's The Game come out? That movie you guys haven't seen? When did that come out? That's not how the
2001.
game is going to be played. I don't think. Maybe. I have no clue.
I've never heard of that movie before, so I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm not going to ask you when that movie came
I
out.
know what
Or
it is,
I
but
could
I'm not
ask
gonna
you, but
say.
it's not going to be scored.
Okay.
So the other thing is, with the movies that I give you, all the years will be years we've been alive. So I'm not going to give you one from, like, a long time ago. It'll be like, oh, hey, Shrek 2 or something like that. And
Okay.
that's
Whoa,
during our
okay.
lifetime. So
All
just
right.
to make it a little
Sure.
bit more feasible so that you can get some points, because we might have already done this and no one had gotten any points. So this time we're going to
So-
make it. We're going
Except for
to
me,
do
who
it.
got a big point.
Yeah, that's true. That's
We're
true.
moving past that.
This time we're gonna make it
Last
so
time
it's
we
a
did that
little
one.
bit easier. That's true.
There's no record of it.
There's no record of it.
There is. I can release it.
No,
I'm not deleting my audio.
Don't release the record.
I'll release the record.
So
You better give me the same date.
I'm gonna give you the same movies even. Not really, but we are going to start off with Niall, and we are
Nice.
going to give you the movie Ratatouille. What year did that come out?
Oh no.
Ooh. Dang.
Ratatouille. I'm gonna go ahead and go with my gut. My gut served me up an answer immediately, and I don't know if it's right, but I'm just gonna do it. 2009, Lucas.
That is incorrect.
Is that incorrect?
It is 2007, however.
Ooh.
All right.
Another odd
All
number,
right.
so
Another odd number, so I get a half point.
you get no points. No.
Okay. Yeah,
You
that's
get no
fair.
points.
No, that's cool. That's fair.
Jared, this one is Scooby-Doo 1, written by James Gunn, the live action.
Scooby-Doo 1 is gonna be 2005.
That might be the second one, but the first one is 2002.
Oh,
Oh, nice.
dang.
Let's see when part 2 came out. Part 2 was 2004. So,
Oh,
Dang.
all right.
sorry about that.
That's okay.
All right, Niall, I'm going to give you a year now, and you have to
Okay.
name the significant movie that came out this year. And that
Okay.
year is...
Does it have to
Giving
be
me-
the significant movie, or can
It doesn't
just
have to be
a
the significant movie, just a significant movie. All right.
Okay.
The year is 1975.
I hate the 70s.
Think of movies that came out in the 70s.
Yeah. I know all about movies that came out in the 70s.
Yeah.
1975.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Give me a sec. Let me get there.
Let's
on
think
the
of
internet.
70s movies. Yeah, he's typing away.
He just typed
You
in
hear my
1975.
keyboard just.
Just clacking.
No, I'm gonna go with the freaking. Oh no, I think that I'm gonna embarrass myself really badly here.
I can't wait to hear how you manage yourself. 3, 2.
The Good, the Bad, and the
One.
Ugly.
No, I think that was the 60s.
Yeah, shut up. I didn't know that.
Or maybe
okay?
even earlier. No, the correct answer, or an answer that I was looking for, would be Jaws.
I was gonna say Jaws, but I had it in my head that was earlier because I think I messed up something that Jared said
I-
a while ago in a conversation.
I was
I
going to
thought it
say
was
that you guessed it
70.
last time we played this game, but then I felt like that would have been an unfair advantage. So the
Crap.
next year is for you, Jared, and
Yeah.
the year is 1985. So 10 years in the future.
Back to the Future.
Oh my gosh, he got it immediately. That is correct. Yeah, there's the 1 point.
Easy
for,
W.
Yeah, you give me Jaws, and then you give him literally his favorite
You
movie.
Jaws is your favorite movie too. What are you talking about?
No, I'm not. I'm kidding. It's
Easy
totally fair play.
W.
All right.
Totally
well,
fair play.
Niall, I'm gonna give you a movie that has come out within the last 10 years. So
Thanks. Pitch
Actually,
it
that,
really
like-
slowly.
that kind of ruins it. So it's still during our lifetime. So it still narrows it down to 24. However, if I say the last 10 years, that gives you a 1 in 10 chance, and I don't really want to give you that good of an option, that good of an odds. So we're gonna give you one that you have seen,
In the
and it
last
is called
50 years.
yeah, the last 50 years. It is Elf, starring Will Ferrell.
Elf, starring Will Ferrell. I know this one.
I know you know.
I've seen this movie.
You've probably
It
seen
was-
I
it
can
many
do
times.
this.
It was back when the Empire State Building was still standing. When was that?
Before it was stolen.
This, I'm gonna. Ooh. Oh no.
You're gonna-
I already
ooh.
feel this. I already feel this just ruining my whole night.
All right. here we go.
2003.
Ding, ding, ding.
Oh, wow.
I'm a genius.
You are incredibly smart.
Oh,
You did.
I'm
You
so
did very well
smart,
with that
dude.
one.
Oh man.
All right, Jared, are you ready for?
Yup.
Are you ready for a
Movie?
For a movie?
Yeah,
You know,
give it to me.
One of those movies. We'll give you a Pixar one. This one is
Great.
Wall-E.
Oh, boy.
Wall-E, a movie you
Uh,
have seen.
Oh, man.
Came out the same year as Bernie, the short film.
Oh, good.
That's not a short film.
Um,
It's full
Yeah, it
length.
is. No, it's not. There's not a
Yeah, it
full-length movie about Bernie.
Yeah, it's like an hour and 45 minutes long, dude.
No, it's 8 minutes long.
Oh, we're talking about different movies.
Yeah, not Bernie with Jack Black.
With Jack Black. That's what I was
Burn
thinking.
hyphen E like
Like
Wall-E.
Oh,
hyphen
is that
E.
a thing? I
Yeah,
don't know
Bernie
if I-
is the little
Ugh.
one that goes outside and replaces the light bulbs while they're flying around in space.
Oh, I don't think I've seen that.
I'm going to say
It's good.
2008.
That is correct.
Nice. Very good.
Well done. That is excellent.
That's what I'm talking about.
Maybe
He's
some
just
of
gonna
our
stay
listeners
one step ahead of me.
maybe some of our listeners are beating Niall and Jared. Who knows?
Probably for
Certainly.
sure.
Probably for sure. All right, Niall, your year is 1977. What is a significant movie that came out in 1977? Just the exacerbated exhale. Just the ugh.
I'm gonna say, Lucas, look me in the eyes. American Graffiti.
Correct director, wrong year.
Really?
That is Star Wars came out.
Star
in
Wars? I thought that was
1977.
79 for some reason.
Nope, Star Wars 1.
Jeez.
That was the one that I was trying to make easy for you. Like
I know.
Oh,
I'm just stupid.
because-
I thought that was 79.
Also,
Ugh.
like last time, I said that. I said that Star Wars came out in 1977 last
I don't listen to what you say.
Yeah,
Okay.
we never listen.
Why would I listen to what you say? No, I really did.
Okay.
I was thinking it's 1979 is definitely when Star Wars came out. So what did George Lucas do before that? It probably came out 2 years before.
So you were
so I said
still-
American Graffiti.
time. You were still thinking,
Dude, I'm
George
so
Lucas.
stupid. I am so stupid.
That's hilarious that your thought process was George Lucas and you didn't say Star Wars. Okay, well, Jared, this one is the year 1997. 1997. So 20 years.
Oh, I think I have an answer for this one.
7.
There They're
How
like
hard.
5-ish, maybe you could get for this one.
Dude, the 90s are hard.
Cool. 90s are hard to remember what
Yeah,
came out
which
when.
year? Yeah.
Yeah.
But 97,
97 is late 90s, so you got to think.
was certainly Home Alone 2 Lost in New York.
That is a good guess. Actually, I'm not sure. I don't think it was actually. I think that was I think that was earlier actually.
It was before 2001.
Can I submit a guess for no points?
1992 was that one.
Oh,
But
that's so old.
some of the
That's
answers you
crazy
could have got.
how
Oh,
that
Niall,
is.
go
Wait,
ahead
wait,
and take
I
a
want
guess.
to guess
Yeah.
for no points.
Take a guess for no points.
Bug's Life.
No.
Oh, okay.
Toy
All right.
Story was 1999, and that was the first Pixar.
Really?
So-
I thought that Bug's Life was before it. Dude,
No.
I am a dumb guy.
Toy Story number 1.
What I'm
Yep.
learning in this podcast, and I
But I
think what
think
the
Ants
listeners
was
are learning
first
is that I'm a dumb
DreamWorks.
guy.
I
Oh, okay.
think.
I think it was. First DreamWorks
I-
animation? Is
Is
that what
it?
you're thinking of?
I don't think so.
I think they made it to
Maybe.
compete with
They
Bugs
did
Life.
make it to compete with Bug's Life, but I don't remember if it was the first one or if Shrek was the first one.
I guess I just thought that Bug's Life was before Toy Story because it looks not as good as
Not
Toy
as good.
Story.
Well, I
Oh,
don't know.
Then
It's-
Toy Story 1.
No, I was gonna say Toy Story 1
looks
does
pretty
not
bad.
look great. If it's been a while, when you rewatch that, it's like oof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, for 1997, some of the answers you could have said were Titanic. That was probably the main one. But also Men in Black and Good Will Hunting. Also,
Oh,
animated Hercules, Jurassic Park 2. Those are like really the most significant. Batman and Robin, if you really wanted to go out on a limb.
Wow. So the
I'm gonna be
target was
honest.
pretty big, and we just totally missed.
I'm going to
it.
be honest, I feel fine missing that one.
Yeah, me too.
See,
I would
what-
not have
here-
come up with Good Will Hunting
or Titanic.
Well,
I've never
here's my
even
problem.
seen Titanic.
In my brain,
never seen Titanic?
Good Will Hunting
I
and
wanna watch it
Titanic
for
are both
3 hours.
from the 70s, maybe? I don't know. Like,
Here's
my brain is so stupid in the 90s. Any 90s
Mm-hmm.
movie to me is also a 70s or 80s movie.
Or 2000s.
Or 2000s, yeah. And there's no in between.
Pre-2010.
And
Yeah.
had you told me Hercules came out in 1982, I would have been like, yeah, okay, that sounds right.
That's correct.
Like, I don't know.
You would have agreed.
I'm so stupid, dude.
So this will be the last question for each of you, and it'll be a
Okay.
movie. And so, Niall, yours is
I like how we played this game one time in an unreleased episode, and it was too hard. So this is Lucas intentionally like pitching slow balls, and we still
The
kinda
same-
suck
swing
at
the
Yeah,
it.
results
it's
are
not-
nearly the same.
Even, yeah, not even getting it
Okay,
in the park.
this one, Niall, I really hope you get. It is
Me too.
Iron Man 1.
Iron Man 1, 2008.
That is 2008. That is correct.
What a softball.
That was a very soft ball.
Okay.
I appreciate
Well,
it. No, it
you-
boosted my ego. I
you think-
appreciate it.
You think if I give him a softball, I'm not going to give you a softball, Jared? Come on.
Sometimes.
Yeah, that's
Sometimes
true.
I think that.
Sometimes that's true. All right, yours is John Mulaney, the comeback kid. What year did that come out? No,
Oh,
not really.
wow.
That's a terrible one.
Yeah,
This
What
we're
was that,
not-
2016?
15, but good guess. This one is Solo: A Star Wars Story.
Ugh.
It's the very recent past, so just think back.
I'm going to say 2016 for this one.
That would be incorrect, for it is 2018.
Really?
5 years ago.
It came out that late? I thought 16 for
Jeez.
sure.
Well,
To be
because
fair, I did not see that in theaters. I barely
even watched it after
anyway.
the fact. Yeah, it was episode 7 was 2015 at the end of the year. Rogue One was 2016. And then it was a year and a half until Solo, and then 6 months, or no, sorry, then it was 2 years until, no, I got it mixed up. Episode 7,
Trilogy
2015.
was every other year.
Every other year. Then Rogue One in between, and then it was episode 8, and then 5 months later it was Solo, and then a year and a half after that was when episode 9 came out. So there was, for some reason,
Yeah.
they put Solo out in May instead of December, and then waited a year and a half to put out episode 9. So anyway, that was
When Solo came out, like Iron Man, they both kicked off one of the biggest franchises in cinema history.
Yeah.
Right? That's why it was a softball.
That's why it was a softball. Well, it was a softball because that was 5 years ago, which is not very long. And so, we were doing this podcast basically 5 years ago.
Sure.
When we started the podcast, it was only 2 years old, actually. So
I lost track of the points, but I'm pretty sure I won, right?
I don't.
I think it was
remember
2-2.
truly. I think it was 2-2.
Oh, was it?
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure it was tied.
I was certain that you won.
No, I think it was 2-2.
I'm pretty sure it was 2-2. So it was a tie.
We're right on.
It was a
Hey.
tie, which means I win, because when there's a tie, the
Oh.
host wins. So
Dang. I didn't
good job
know
to
that.
me.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you
didn't
for
know.
playing. Thank
I
you
would
for
rather
participating.
have Jared win than you win.
Yeah,
So-
same.
You would rather
Can
have
I
Jared
change
win?
one of my answers?
Yeah, I'd rather have
Iron Man came out in 2003.
Too late.
Bro.
Too late. I've already won. Thank you for participating.
That's
and
so...
here's a cool song you can listen to. Welcome back to Man Cave Movie Night. We are
Hey.
just got done
Woo.
playing a game about
We just played a
movies.
game.
The One Piece.
And it was about movies, and that's what our podcast is primarily usually about. And this episode is going to be pretty long, I think, but I think that's fine because this is a fun episode. This
I'm
is
Niall.
an idea that I've
I'm
had.
Jared.
Lucas, yeah. Anyway, this is an idea I've had for a while, and I think it was fun to make Jared and Niall do this. And I hope, if you're listening, that maybe you participated too, and maybe you made a list of your favorite movie from every year that you've been alive. That may vary depending on when you were born. For Niall, Jared, and I, we were born in the very late 90s, and so we have 23 or 24 movies that we will be talking about
90s
or
kids.
presenting. We are 90s kids, yep.
We are 90s
remember
kids.
all
That's
those
why
90s
we remember
movies.
all the 90s movies. Yeah.
Yes, it's
It
sick.
came out right before we were born. So
I just want to say real quick.
let's hear it now.
Before you keep going, this was so fun to make for me. It took longer than I was expecting, but putting this list together was like a hoot and a half. I had a great time doing it. I caution to all of you listeners that want to make this same list. It will kind of make you think about mortality a little bit when you're doing it, because you'll look at a movie and you're like, "Oh, okay,
Rip.
that's a movie that feels like it just barely came out," and like, no, that was more than 10 years ago.
that was
you
half
know,
my
that kinda-
lifetime ago.
Yeah,
The movie
and
came out.
it's pretty weird to have that experience. So just prepare yourself to kind of also feel a little bit weird while you're making your list. But also, I was looking through it and I was looking at the lists of each of these movies and I was like, okay, so this is like most of the movies that I've seen in my life, you know?
Yeah, that's
Like
the
I've
thing.
seen a lot of movies from before when I was born, obviously, of course, but probably the most movies that I've seen are from when I've been alive, and it was pretty crazy to see that many movies just kind of condensed down. So I don't know. I had a good time making my list, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm very glad.
I
Yeah, I
also
know.
had a good time.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I found definitely there were some years where I was like, yeah, I mean, I've seen those movies. I don't know if any
Yeah.
of them are like my favorite movie.
Yeah.
Well,
So there's some years that I felt were a little barren,
That-
and then other more recent years that I'm like, okay, so all of my favorite movies came out that year.
yeah, exactly. Yep.
And so then
Totally.
I had to choose. Like if you looked at our top 10 list, like half of mine came from the same year, and
Yeah.
so I'm kind of like, "Boh." I wish I didn't have to narrow it down there and
Yeah.
instead like had to just
That's hard.
pick something a different year. That's kind of a bummer.
Yeah, that's kind of the fun of the list, though. Is doesn't necessarily have to be one of your favorite movies ever, but just your favorite movie
Of
from
that
that
year.
year. Yeah,
Yeah.
which is kind
Which
of
sometimes is really hard in a year like I a little bit of spoilers. I won't say the name of any movie, but for the year 2014, I didn't even write an answer. I wrote look at Letterboxd because I looked at like the list that there was a guy who was putting together lists for each year that I was kind of following, and the 2014 one, the top 8 movies are all movies that I could very easily see myself saying, oh, that one was like my favorite one from that year.
Yeah.
So I didn't even bother writing down like a condensed list because I was like, I can't cut any of these out.
Yeah.
When we get to 2014, I'll just pick one of them and I'll feel okay about it, you know?
Yep.
2014.
Same year for me.
Yeah, that was mine
that
as well.
is that
I was
the
going to
year?
say.
Yeah.
Yep.
That movie
2014
is, or that
was
year is so
by
It's
far the
stacked.
hardest. It is crazy stacked. But before we get into talking about our list and our year and everything and which movies we chose for which year, let's talk about which year was the hardest to choose, not because of how many good ones there were, because I think it was 2014 for all of us, but how many how hard it was because there just wasn't as many maybe as we were anticipating in a certain year. And so it made it hard because of that. And then we can kind of share which movie we ended up choosing.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll go first. Mine was the best year out there, 2006. Where are my 2006 friends at? Not a ton out there for me. Maybe you guys found some other ones that I might be like, oh, that's the one.
I'm
But-
pretty sure the mine for 2006, you will not be like, oh yeah, I should have done that one.
Mine, again, not a movie that I thought, like the one I eventually picked, not in my top whatever list, but it is
Yeah.
one I definitely really like. And so I feel good about it, but yeah, it's not by any means one of my favorite movies of all time.
What did you end up choosing?
I picked Cars.
Cars. Nice.
Pixar's Cars. Again,
Nice.
great movie. I quote it all the time. I think about it more often than I think about some other movies. So,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll take it.
I actually just rewatched Cars today with my family, and that movie holds up. It is great.
that
The
movie
animation.
rules.
Speaking of bad Pixar animation in that is great. It
Yeah,
was really
that's not
surprising, especially for 2006 when it came out.
2006, yeah.
Almost 20 years ago. That animation is stellar. It looks so good. It's just great example of, good CG, like 3D animation. And that's only 7 years after Toy Story. It's pretty crazy how much how quickly it developed.
Yeah, dude, they crushed it. For me, a lot of the years where I felt like there wasn't a lot of talent, it was easy for me because there would be one specific movie that I was like, oh, well, that one,
Yeah.
And then it wasn't hard to pick after that, However, there was a year that just felt like generally kind of weak to me that I still got an answer for, but it was 2013. It was just kind of like
Interesting.
a...
Huh.
Yeah, like there's good movies in there, I guess.
Yeah.
And like I wrote down 2 movies that like I like both of them, but it really was kind of like, oh, okay.
Okay, this was that
2013
year.
is whatever. It's a little bit, a drought before the absolute downpour of 2014. I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But,
What was the year? What was the movie you ended up choosing then?
the one that I ended up choosing was The World's End.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice. Yep. Just barely turned 10.
The
Edgar Wright was
finale
supposed
of
to
the
know about
Cornetto trilogy. I have a backup movie. I won't say what it is in case it's one of yours. However, I guarantee you that it's not. But
Yeah, I
I'll
was gonna
stick
say,
with The
I highly
World's End
doubt
for
it.
now.
Sure.
that. World's End. That I like that one, but I'm gonna be honest. I think that's my least favorite Edgar Wright.
Really, my least favorite's Last Night in Soho.
Really, I really liked
yeah.
Last Night in Soho. Actually,
It was
but
good, but
apparently
it
a
was
lot of
just
people
kinda
didn't
like-
like it very much. Which
It's not even that I didn't like
Surprising.
it. I was just kind of like, oh, all right. Like if that's it, then cool. It felt very like
just wasn't like. Quite
I just
as
kind of saw the
Edgar
whole
Wright.
thing coming a little bit. Like as soon as the movie started, I was like, oh, I think I get it.
Yeah.
And then it just like it. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's
It was
fine.
fun. I liked it. But
Yeah.
Interesting.
No, I did
Anyway.
like that one a lot. But anyway, my year that I had the hardest time with was the year 2000 because there just wasn't like
because
a
not much had changed, but they lived underwater.
yeah they started living underwater as a
That's
result of
3000.
Y2K.
Oh, never mind. Yeah, sorry.
Oh,
Got
When do
my
you think the
years mixed
Jonas
up.
Brothers were?
Jonas Brothers released that song in 600.
in the year 600 AD.
I went to the year 600.
The movie, yeah, there are some good movies that year. I would say that I really enjoy. However, the movie I ended up choosing I would say there were like 4. So it was like 4 like really great movies that came out that year. The movie I ended up choosing came down to 2. One of them I'm pretty sure one of you probably chose, but the one I ended up choosing was American Psycho because I rewatched that like a few months ago and it's really good. I really, really enjoy that movie. It is hilarious.
That's
and
awesome.
for its time, especially coming out 23 years ago, it's kind of depressing that very little has changed. In fact, things have gotten worse in the things that it's like satirizing. It's only gotten more extreme.
The world is more like that now than it ever has been.
Yeah. But it's still a great movie. Yeah, I still really enjoyed it. It's very funny. But with that, we'll kind of have some more questions as we go along, but I think we should get into the years and start talking about what movies we chose for which year. And since I am the oldest of the 3 of us, I was the only one alive for 1998, and it was only for 9 days. However, I was still born in 1998. That's what my birth certificate says, and so
Alright.
I get to choose a
Better
movie
be
from
a
that
Christmas
year.
movie, bro.
no.
Better be a
Yeah.
Christmas
Is
movie.
it Die Hard?
It is not Die Hard. However, I love that movie. It did not come out in 1998. I think it was 94.
Well,
Or a
one of
New
them
Year's
maybe
Eve
did.
movie.
There's like a billion of those.
That's true.
Is it a
One of
New
them
Year's Eve
maybe.
movie?
The New Year's Eve movie. Is there a New Year's Eve movie other than like It's a Wonderful Life?
When Harry Met Sally, I'd say, is a New Year's Eve movie.
I think that's the 70s though, right? Or
Yeah, well,
80s?
it's definitely not 98. I don't think.
I could think of one. Give me a sec.
No, I'm gonna not make them sit and wait and listen to you
In silence.
sing.
Hey, Lucas, shut up for a second while I think about what a New Year's
It was-
movie is.
This movie is
89.
89.
Is Stuart
okay.
Little New Year's?
Yeah, it's Super New Year's.
Cool.
Is it?
It
Really?
gives the vibe.
Sure.
Yeah,
it
it
gives
does.
off good New
It's new-
Year's.
turning a
vibe.
It's
new
either
leaf.
New Year's or 4th of July, and there's no other option.
Yeah, Stuart Little gives off really big
4th of July,
4th of July
big 4th of
energy
July
and New
energy,
Year's
actually.
energy.
Okay, well, the movie I
So it's
chose for
not those.
1998 was The Big Lebowski. I love that movie. It is very hilarious, and that's the one I chose. I was not alive technically when it came out, but I was alive the year that it came out,
Wow.
which is what matters.
That's pretty
Big
cool.
man on campus, Lucas
Yeah,
Gilbert.
look at
So-
this dude.
Then, from here on out, we've all been alive for these other years, starting with
All right.
1999.
Ah.
Now, I was the only one who was alive for the entirety of 1999, so, you know, I have a little bit
So
more
do you want to go first on
seniority.
this one as well?
Yeah,
or-
you go. You go.
So what we're going
first.
to do
Should we
is
just rapid fire?
we'll count down so that we say them all at the same time, so that it's just kind of fun. We all reveal them at the same time, and then
It is kinda
you,
fun.
if you're listening, when we say 3, 2, 1, you can say your movie out loud too. Won't that be so
Oh,
fun
wow.
to do?
That'll
That
be
is so
great.
fun.
Okay.
That'll be
That's
great.
That engages the audience.
It does.
Yeah.
All right. So
That's why you're the
1999.
oldest.
Yeah, that's why I'm the oldest. I'm the most sage, the most wise, and the
Right, we
most
should-
and the least employed.
Well, I don't know if that's true. Let's
I'm
go.
for sure the most employed.
I would say
right
the
now.
most
It's pretty sick.
unemployed. Actually, that's a better way of saying
You're
it.
the most unemployed.
Okay, so for this, should we count down or
Yeah,
should
we'll
we
do
like
3.
say
I'll s-
1999?
movie.
Princess
Tarzan.
Mononoke.
Green Mile. I said movie. I did that last time.
You
I did the exact same thing I did last time. I don't know why.
Movie.
Movie.
Movie was good, dude. For
the
for
90s,
'99
yeah.
especially, it was really
99.
ahead
I
of its
think
time.
that was the first appearance of movie.
That was, yeah.
It introduced us to the characters
After
of
credits.
protagonists.
After credits, movie will return.
Movie will
in movie two.
No. I think to keep this going, because we'll have 24 separate movies we'll have to talk about. We'll
No
just
jokes.
say what the movie was. Yeah, no jokes, no laughing.
Yeah, stop being
being goofy. We'll
big
just say what the movie
goof.
was, why we chose it, and then move on. I chose The Green Mile because I love it. Directed by the same guy who directed Shawshank Redemption, Frank Darabont. Also written by Stephen King. Shawshank was also written
Shawshank
by
Redemption.
Green Mile. Great movie. If you haven't seen it, I would highly recommend it. That's the one I chose. Starring Tom Hanks also. Very good. Tom Hanks good.
Cool.
Yeah, that's true. I said Princess Mononoke is, I believe, the first Studio Ghibli movie to have a theatrical release in the United States of America.
Marca.
Therefore, it's
And-
bad.
No, it's good. It
was
is good.
So it was them who brought the plague of anime to the States.
Well, oh, Ghibli? I thought you were saying the Japanese, and I was like, yeah, obviously.
So it was the Japanese who brought anime.
I don't know. I feel like Dragon Ball Z was definitely being aired in the U.S.
Oh, yeah.
before '99.
Dragon Ball Z is like a 70s thing, right?
I don't know if it's that old.
Maybe. One
No,
Piece
it's
must
90s.
be from the 70s.
It's 90s,
There's so many
probably.
episodes. It has to be that old.
Yeah. How can you release 70,000 episodes without starting in the 70s? Anyway,
89
Princess
was when it
Mononoke
started.
rocks.
Oh, nice.
Dragon Ball Z?
Yeah.
Or
That's
just
a
Dragon
lot.
Ball, I guess.
That's good. Good clarification. I think Dragon Ball Z.
Sheesh.
So Dragon Ball was before.
Oh my gosh.
That's
Dang.
crazy.
Let me look up Dragon Ball.
What I will say about Studio Ghibli is that I have seen some of them, so it's good anime.
Nice.
Therefore,
It's good.
it's good anime because I've seen it, but I haven't seen Princess Mononoke. Is it 89 for Dragon Ball or just Dragon Ball?
86 for Dragon Ball.
Dang, that is
Man.
So it's
crazy.
been coming out for a long
That's
time.
almost 40
Truly
years.
cannot believe that.
That is
That's
wild.
wild. But yeah, Princess Mononoke, my answer.
Cool. I also chose an anime. I chose Tarzan. Um, I chose
That's a
Tarzan
great
because
90s
it's
anime.
my.
Took a while for that
It was-
joke to land in my brain.
It was the first movie little baby Jared got to see in theaters, in the cinema.
That's tight.
It's also good. It's got a good score. We
Yeah.
all love Tarzan.
We all love
Let's be-
Tarzan.
Let's be honest. So yeah, that's my
I'd
pick.
love it.
The first
for sure.
movie that I saw in cinema was Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. And this
In
was...
cinema, you British?
Well, that's what Jared just said. So I was continuing.
Wow, you say cinema?
First movie I saw in
I was just going
Don't
to tell a
touch the
story about
cinema, get some
how when I
popcorn.
did see it in theaters, that was when I said my first word, which was Jar Jar. And I said it at the screen, and then I said it running up and down the aisles. And as Jar Jar was my first word, it shall also be my last. And with that, we
Good.
will move on to the year 2000, which I already said mine. It was American Psycho. But,
That's
Niall
right.
and Jared,
2000.
2000.
Oh brother, where art thou?
Oh,
Pokemon
wow.
2000, I mean.
I'm a gladiator. F.
Yeah,
I
Gladiator
didn't
was...
want to take the same answer as Jared, so Pokemon 2000.
Gladiator,
Gladiator.
was what I was expecting from Niall, because I know Niall
No.
loves Gladiator.
I do love Gladiator. Gladiator, I think, is one of the first movies I remember watching, actually, like in my childhood.
Hilarious. I do.
That
My
is
dad would
hilarious.
just fast forward through some of the spice.
Gristlier.
Ironically, like Pokemon 2000 is one early memory for Jared.
And your dad fast forwarding through the spicy parts.
Honestly, my dad didn't love us enjoying Pokemon
That's kind of
for
lame.
some reason, so
Pokemon is fun.
it took us a while to actually get into it. But
My mom also tried to censor Gladiator for me, and she did a terrible job. It's very
I
funny.
love that. No, but my answer is actually Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? I think it's one of those movies that's just about as perfect of a movie as you can make.
Yeah.
So,
I definitely
Yeah.
need to rewatch that because it's Ian's
Same.
Do it.
number one favorite movie,
oh,
which is fun.
shout
honestly,
out to
that,
Ian.
Shout out
that
to
is a
Ian.
pick that is incredibly valid.
Yeah,
You know?
it's
Yeah.
very based.
When people, man, there's some movies when people say it's my favorite, you're like, really? Is it though?
yeah,
Are
Yeah.
you sure about that though?
You sure about that?
Sure
you
about that?
sure
That's
about
why?
that?
you
That's
sure
why.
about that? You sure about Bedazzled
Like-
from 2000 starring Brendan Fraser is your favorite movie of all time?
Yeah, Beverly Hills, Chihuahua. You
Well,
sure
even
about
like
that?
at this point, Inception or not Inception, Interstellar is one of those for me. Where I'm like, yeah, it's good, but that's your favorite movie ever. That seems like such a
don't know. I can
popular
see that
choice.
one.
Yeah, have you even
know what I mean?
seen Oppenheimer, you dolt?
Yeah.
You worthless
Bopping
swine.
by.
Again, I'm not saying it's a bad movie,
I love
but I
it.
think
I
you're
love
basic for
Interstellar.
saying it.
Sure.
That's fair. That's very fair.
But if you say, "Oh brother, where art thou?" I'm like, sick.
Yeah.
That's good. That's
yeah,
a great
it's a
pick.
unique
Yeah.
one. But not because it's unpopular, just because it's like, yeah, not a lot of people say it's their
Or if you're
favorite.
like
but it is
2001, a Space Odyssey.
Yeah,
I'm like,
that's
really?
that's a bit red
That's
flag.
your favorite.
My favorite
Citizen
is
Kane is your favorite.
Fellowship of the Ring, which I feel like is incredibly basic, but it's just true. And so I'm not going to lie to your face and say a movie, because some of my other favorites would be like The Godfather Part 1. No one's going to be like, oh, cool, The Godfather Part 1. Thank you. So relatable to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, 2001.
Speaking of which,
Let's do that year.
2001.
Fellowship
Spirited
of the Ring.
Away.
Hey, that's 2 for 2.
Niall and Jared
Okay.
share the same brain.
Spirited Away, Studio Ghibli. This is a movie that truly, when Jared has a question that he likes to ask, which is, like, what's one movie that you think every person in the world should see?
Yeah.
I think that for me that answer is Spirited Away. I think that there's a lot that's communicated in that movie that you just kind of can't get out of any other movie, and so it's just perfect and beautiful. And both of my phone backgrounds right now for home screen and lock screen are Spirited Away stuff. I just love that movie.
It is a good one. I need to rewatch that one too.
Yeah,
Do it.
I also love it. I think I'm watching more at this point. It's less the plot for me and just the emotions behind it, right?
Yeah.
Like, when I tell people to watch it, I'm like, I mean, you really don't have to, like, truly understand the plot. Obviously, you should know kind of what's going on.
Yeah.
But just feeling the emotions that are pouring out of the screen is what's most important.
Yeah.
I will also say my pick for 2001, 2002, and 2003 are all truly just The Lord of the Rings. But I didn't want to just say The Lord of the Rings three times.
Same.
Yeah,
So
that's...
I'm picking other things.
Well, since you're
But
picking other things...
I feel fine with that.
I'm just going to say it all 3 times, since that way it'll still maintain some diversity.
Man,
I
fair game.
figured you would.
Fair play.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Anyway, with that, 2000...
Wait. I need just 1 second on this, because you guys know that I had to replace my 2002, but I just realized that I didn't do that. So let me just look at the year really quick.
You can pick Lord of the Rings.
I can pick
You can
Lord
pick
of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings,
I'm-
The Two
I'm
Towers.
All right, you ready?
But I think... Okay, yep, I'm ready.
2002,
2002
Lord of the
Spider-Man.
Rings, The Two Towers.
Ooh, Jared and I have the same one. Spider-Man was a close second, I would say. And Catch Me If You Can, another one that came out this year. Also,
Yeah,
The one I
Catch Me If You
put
Can
was Ice
rules.
Age.
Scooby-Doo.
I don't want to
Scooby-Doo,
say
yeah,
Ice Age.
also came out that year.
Yeah, I have such an emotional attachment to Ice Age growing up. That was one
Yeah.
of our most watched, but
The
I don't know
Master...
if
What's
I
the
rewatched
squirrel's
it,
name?
hold up.
Spike?
Scratch?
Scratchy. Or Scratch.
Grunty.
Grunkle?
Scrambo.
Samsonite.
Samsonite.
Oh, Samsonite.
A movie that came out in 2002 was The Master of Disguise, which was filming in 2001.
Oh.
Master of Disguise, terrible movie. But it was filming... One of my favorite things about this movie is a review on Letterboxd, which I will find and then recount to you, because...
While you look for
here we
it,
go.
I want to say this.
Yeah.
The Master of Disguise has on Rotten Tomatoes 1%. You can look that up. 1 singular
1%.
percent.
On
That rules.
it has a 1.8 on Letterboxd, which is incredibly low. But here's from IMDb trivia: the scene at the Turtle Club happened to be filming on September 11th, 2001. When word of the terrorist attacks reached the set, the cast and crew observed a moment of silence.
And then kept
He was
filming
just
the
dressed as
Turtle
the
Club
turtle.
scene.
Filming the Turtle Club scene the day of 9/11.
All right, a moment of silence.
Okay,
Now we're gonna finish
keep
this scene.
scene.
Dana, could you do the turtle thing again?
Yeah, that movie.
Kids growing up in the 2000s are gonna love to say the turtle thing.
And they did, and they do.
They
They
did.
did, and I did.
I did. Yep, I said the
Turtle thing was funny thing.
Yeah,
Yep.
I fun fact about that movie as well. I watched that for the first time on the same night that I watched The Deathly Hallows Part 2, because
Wow.
I didn't typically stay up that late on the school night, and I was like, well, I'm just going to get on Netflix and watch a movie, and that was the movie I landed on for some reason when I was like
That's sick.
13 or whatever. But
Yeah, I only found out that movie sucks like 2 years ago, because I watched it once when I was a little kid and loved it because I was a little kid.
yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
And that forever I was just like, oh yeah, that's probably a good movie. And then I discovered
that it's
like,
actually...
I saw a clip on YouTube and I was like, this is horrendous.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, Dana, but
Yeah,
didn't
poor
work out
Dana.
for you. Moving on, though, we got...
Well, that seems like a post-credit conversation that slipped
It
into
does.
this episode.
Uh-oh.
If you liked that and you want to hear more, you can sub to our Patreon and hear all of our loose thoughts and rambles on our
Literally
post-credits.
$3 a month. Get one less McDouble a month. and listen to more of us talking.
We will make you more healthy.
We will make you more
Yeah.
healthy by eating one less McNugget. McNuggets
Yeah,
are $3
and that way
now.
you also don't have to support Subway to get healthy.
True.
That's true.
You just have to subscribe to Patreon.
Speaking of loose rambling, though, let's move on to
2003.
2003 School
School
of
of
Rock.
Wow, there's lots of overlapping.
I meant Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl.
Yeah, that's a great one as well. I do love that one too.
No, we can have the same.
Yeah, we
answer.
can have all the same answers. I think we'll.
Yeah,
well,
It'll
we might-
start to diverge.
Maybe.
Maybe.
We'll
Well,
see.
I think the closer we get to the current year,
Yeah,
there's
it'll
just
start
more
to split.
movies we've seen and more that we probably have a higher recollection of.
Yeah.
So yeah, Return of the King. Pretty
School of Rock. Oh, yeah. Return of the King, obviously. Freaking
Yeah.
duh.
Duh.
School of Rock. I know I've said this before on the podcast, but not everyone's heard every episode of the podcast. I'm going to say it again.
That's true.
This is a movie that truly makes me wish that I lived in the movie. Every time I watch it, they're just having so much fun, and it's such an ideal situation, and it's so funny, and it's just like, man, it just makes me wish that I was in that movie. So, that's the winner for me.
It's a good
Yeah,
one.
next time we go together, can I go first?
yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
Thanks.
Next year is 2004, and Jared.
Wait,
School of Rock is good.
School of
Watch
Rock is
it.
good. That's true.
I'm sorry.
see,
I
see,
get
see.
excited and
and you just start talking about the movie.
I start going.
It's okay. That was a very heartfelt answer, Niall, and I'm certain Jared would not have had a better answer. So
No,
I feel like he would.
I would have just spat on it.
he would have said,
No.
"I didn't actually like it at all. I just knew Niall would choose it."
Jared's answers are good, Lucas. Stop being mean.
Of
to my
course, they're
friend.
good. They're the same as
You already,
yours.
you already claimed that you won in the opening game.
Yeah, I'm winning in this game now too. So
He is winning in this one, let's be
He's
honest.
kind of winning.
All right.
He said Lord
Speaking
of the
of
Rings,
which,
all three of them.
2004
Spider-Man
Spider-Man
2. Yes, I knew you would choose it, Jared. You can go ahead and talk
Nice.
about it.
All right. This is the
Dude, my favorite thing about Spider-Man 2.
No, Niall, no,
Niall,
Not
stop,
Niall.
stop, wait,
all
let
right,
me.
all right.
I think Spider-Man 2 is one of the best superhero movies ever made. It's one of the best sequels ever made. Speaking of things we say a lot on the podcast, I'm a sucker for a good sequel. And what makes a good sequel is you take what is given to you in the first movie and you take
ruin
that
it.
character, put him in a new situation that makes him grow and rethink some of the things they, some of the growth they made in the first one. And Spider-Man 2 does that perfectly. In addition, it gives us one of the best villains and best villain portrayals we've seen ever in a superhero movie.
Yes.
Alfred Molina's
So much so they brought
Dr.
him back.
Octavius. And so, yeah, just a great movie all the way through. And sprinkled with some comedy and some romance. And hey, it's a good Spider-Man.
It's excellent. 100% agreed.
So
Ditto. Niall,
So
what movie did you even
Um,
say?
I said Shaun of the Dead.
Oh, that is actually a great one.
Well, it's just like a perfect script. It's like a case study in screenwriting, I think.
You're making an airtight script.
Yeah, and like it's a great example. There's some stuff even about this on YouTube that you can find. But when Edgar Wright writes a script, he starts writing the script having already storyboarded certain scenes. So it's like the script is written with the camera framing in mind. Like all of it is just, it's such a cohesive effort from beginning to end. And Shaun of the Dead, I think, as much as any other movie that he's made, but that one especially, impressive being his first like theatrical feature film. It really is like it's impressive that it's so well done so early on in his career.
He had one movie before that. Did it not get a theatrical release?
I don't believe it was theatrical.
Yeah.
It was called A Fistful of Dollars or something.
Fistful of
and it was,
Fingers. Fistful of Dollars is a classic
it's
spaghetti
like,
western.
that's a
Yeah, it's like
sequel to.
That's a
yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah, it's like a parody or
It's pretty
something.
good.
It's like a Western parody. It's a comedy. I don't fully know what it is. I haven't watched it, but apparently it's fine. He doesn't think it's very good either, and he's talked about that a couple times. It's like,
Sure. But yeah, I don't think that had like a theatrical.
It was
release.
probably
Or
just
if
a
it did,
UK
it was
thing.
not like a global.
yeah, it was like a
So
cool. Well, on to 2005. We ready?
On to 2005,
Revenge
Batman
of the Sith.
Begins.
Wow. A lot of franchises. A lot of franchise choice we're choosing.
Well, here's the thing. In these first, well, actually, probably a lot of mine are franchises.
Yeah, mine as
Those
well.
are the ones that are truly like the best. And this was
The
in an
best of the
age where
franchises,
franchises weren't somewhat ruined.
yeah,
You know?
certainly.
Can I talk about Batman Begins first?
Absolutely, I'm done.
I think
You already talked
as far
about it.
as origin stories, this is probably one of the best superhero movies ever told. It perfectly sets up Batman, sets up his motivation, sets up all the things we need to know about this character, and shows him become Batman, right? The Batman also did a great job setting up a character a little bit, but we didn't see him become. He already
Yeah,
was.
he already was. Which
This one, man, it's just a perfect setup, good villains, and a great story all the way through.
Yep.
Totally.
I also just want to note that now that I've seen Cillian Murphy naked in Oppenheimer, I want to go back and watch this one because I think it's going to improve the experience.
Yeah, I think so.
My imagination can run a little bit more wild on when I'm watching.
You can also
True.
go back and see him naked in 28 Days Later. So
Yeah, but
Nah.
he was like dead or something. So
no, he was alive. Have you even seen that movie?
Yeah, but it's been a long time.
It's pretty good. I like it.
And I just really just made up that detail. I don't.
That'd be pretty silly if he's dead when the whole point is to not die in that movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, I chose Revenge of the Sith from 2005.
Nice.
One of my
Nice.
favorite memories growing up was going to see this movie in theaters. I still love it. I think it does what the other two prequels does not, and it does what the sequels do not either, which is give you exactly... It does everything that a good prequel should do, which is set up
Be
the
good.
next movie in every... It answers all the questions. It answers how Anakin became Vader. It answers why... Luke and Leia are separated, why Obi-Wan is on Tatooine, why Padme is dead, why Obi-Wan and Anakin split up, all that stuff, why the Jedi are gone. It does it all in a really great way, and I love it. I truly love that movie a lot, and that's my answer for this year.
Yep.
Yeah, I was at the gym a couple days ago, and it was on one of the TVs,
Mm-hmm.
and it was the part where Grievous whips out all 4 lightsabers for
Oh,
the first
dude.
time and starts fighting
Starts
Obi-Wan.
helicoptering him.
And I was like, that is one of the coolest things I'll ever see on the big screen.
So sweet.
Like, I was just reminded of how cool that actually looks on in the movie,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Yep.
Because now, usually what I think of is just the Lego games at this point.
Yeah, seriously.
Same.
The Lego games or worst iterations of Star Wars that have unfortunately followed.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
2006, The
Cars.
Prestige.
All right.
What did you
Well,
say, Jared?
You've heard me talk about Cars
Yeah,
already
Cars,
a little
yep.
bit.
The Prestige.
I love it.
Nice. I said Borat, which I knew for a fact you would not choose, and I knew you would be surprised by me choosing. But I love Borat.
I
I think
am.
Borat is a hilarious movie. I've watched it many times, and I will continue to watch it over and over and over again because every single time I watch it, it is hilarious.
Yeah, it's true.
I haven't seen it all the way through. I've just seen so many clips, and at this point, I feel like I've seen the whole movie.
Yeah, there's.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'll have to watch it.
It's.
I have to watch it too. I've never seen
It's
it.
so good. It's so good. It's horrendous. It is horrendous, but it is so funny. Just the things they do in that movie are so cursed.
I said The Prestige. I'm surprised at this year. I actually just now double checked to make sure that I wasn't wrong on the year. Christopher Nolan had a 2005 and a 2006 release.
Yep.
That's pretty
Dang.
heavy schedule.
And they're
But,
big movies,
yeah.
both of them.
Yeah, but The Prestige, man, it's just awesome. I recently in my feed on YouTube just the scene of him doing the ball trick in like the prison yard where he like drops the ball and then hooks the chain around the dude's
Oh,
leg.
yeah.
Like he pretends to fumble the trick and then
Yeah.
and then locks him up. And I was just like, dude, that is so cool.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole movie is just full of moments like that where you're just like, man, that is sweet.
Yeah.
Like throughout that whole movie, I'm stoked on it the entire time.
I really like that movie. It's kind of interesting how it does. You can't really predict the twist at the end, which I'm fine with because
No.
there's no way to think one half of the twist you can definitely see kind of coming with if you haven't seen Prestige, I guess spoilers, but with the twins. But then the cloning half of it is like, what? Like, there's no way.
Yeah.
There's two sides to the twist ending, which I thought was,
Yeah.
it's kind of sci-fi in a weird way, but it ultimately works.
But I think
I was fine with
the
it.
cloning thing is like, I don't even feel like that's part of the twist. That's kind of more like it's like a somewhat of a reveal, and it's just like what? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
But the twins thing is really
Yeah,
okay,
I see,
that's
I see.
like, yeah, I don't know. I think it's
the cloning
really,
thing
really
is
cool.
more of just like a what the heck? He's just like killing
Yeah.
himself over and over. Technically,
Yeah.
like it's pretty wild.
Pretty cool. Okay, spoilers end there.
Cool.
Okay, you can start listening again.
You can continue, yeah. As we talk about
2007
Hot Rod.
Hot Fuzz.
Oh, what?
Hot Rod, Hot Fuzz.
Hot Rod, Hot
Yeah,
Fuzz.
this is a hard year for me, dude. Because I'll read my list really quick. I have Hot Fuzz, No Country for Old Men,
Yep.
Zodiac, Transformers, and Hot Rod.
Transformers.
Man,
bottom
what a
of the
year.
list.
No, Transformers. Listen.
I had Hot
It's
Rod
not
in the B
best
movie.
movie. It's your favorite movie
I know,
from
I
that
know.
year, and you know how much I love Transformers. I just watched it again last night. And,
Transformers 1,
dude,
you just rewatched?
yeah, the first one. Yeah, I had a friend who was like, "Oh, we should watch Transformers," and I watched it, and I was like, "This is freaking awesome."
I will say the CG holds up from that
Dude,
movie. It
yeah,
is
for a
looks pretty good.
surprising.
2007 movie, it's crazy. But we're not here to talk about that. Hot Fuzz, second installment to the Cornetto trilogy. That's right, you heard me. All three
I was
of
gonna
the
say, are
Cornetto
all three
trilogy
on your list?
are on this list for me. Because all three of them, I think, are huge contributors to who I am as a person today, and a large contributor to my interest in film beyond just, oh, I like movies, but actually like being interested in screenwriting and directing and cinematography and stuff like that. Edgar Wright, and specifically the Cornetto trilogy, had such a huge impact on me that basically any year where I saw one of those movies, it wasn't too hard to decide.
You want to explain why it's called the Cornetto trilogy to people who maybe have not
Yeah,
seen?
for sure. The Cornetto trilogy is three movies that use basically the same cast. All three of them are co-written by Simon Pegg and Edgar Wright. And the three movies are kind of themed. They're not based on, but they're themed around the three flavors of Cornetto, which is an ice cream in the UK. There's strawberry, vanilla, and mint. And strawberry has a red wrapper, and that is the zombie movie, because blood. Vanilla has a blue wrapper, so they did a cop movie.
Because Back to Blue.
Because, yeah, Back to
'Cause
Blue.
hashtag
And then Mint has a green wrapper, and they did like an Aliens movie with The World's End. And so that's why they call it the Cornetto trilogy. All three of the movies have basically the exact same cast.
But they're not connected. They're not
but
actual sequels.
they're not like sequential. It's a trilogy in filmmaking, but not in story.
It's a great way of putting it. Hot Rod was
Thanks.
Jared's and I. I don't
There
know.
you
I
go.
love that movie. I just love it. I have a lot of comedies on this list. Hot Rod was a movie that I've got more than one Andy Samberg on this list. I love Andy Samberg. I love the Lonely Island Boys. Every single time I watch something with Andy Samberg, I'm just like, I wish there was more. And there's a lot of Andy Samberg out there, but I always am yearning for more. I love him. He's one of my favorite actors. Hot Rod was really the one that got me going on all those boys, and it is a movie I could rewatch 10 times in one day and not grow tired of it.
Nice.
Yeah. I think this, like Napoleon Dynamite, is one of those movies that, like, every scene has a quote in it that growing up I heard every day. of my life.
True.
Yes,
And so it's hard to beat that.
truly.
Yeah.
Next
So
year,
let's see if
I have a
2008
prediction
can.
for 2008. I'm gonna bet we all chose the same movie.
It's very possible.
Possible.
Let's see.
2008,
The Dark
Knight.
Yep. This is the one
Yeah.
year I think we all would have all chosen the
Yeah.
same movie.
Yeah.
Who wants to field this one?
Dark Knight, good. What more can you say? We
Yeah,
already
I
talked
agree.
about
Perfect sequel
Christopher Nolan. Yeah.
again.
Batman Begins.
I agree.
It is a perfect
Nolan.
sequel.
I guess the one thing I will say about it, just real quick, fun fact that I'm sure everybody already knows at this point.
When he kicked the helmet,
Christopher
he
Nolan-
broke his toe.
Yeah. Yeah, when that dead body slams into the window, he actually broke his toe. No, it's that Christopher Nolan was not planning on making this movie when he made Batman Begins. He put the little Joker tease at the end to basically do the same thing that he did at The Dark Knight Rises with like Robin and stuff, which is basically just, and the story of Batman continues from here.
Yeah, but
and that
we
was
won't
like
see
the
it,
intent
yeah.
of that. But then it had such a huge reception, Batman Begins did, and people were so excited about the next one. The studio was kind of like, hey, make another
Come on.
one. And he was like, all right.
Fine.
And so he kind of like begrudgingly agreed to make the best superhero movie ever made. And I think that that's such a fun little fact.
Yeah.
And so I like to share it.
He then also made he was probably able to get Inception off that. I don't know the context of that story, but Inception was his next movie, and it was made at probably at around the same time because that came out in 2010. But yeah, pretty cool.
Yup.
Yeah.
With-
If we don't, I mean, if I say that in Spider-Man 2, there's one of the best villains of all time, I can't say the same for The Dark Knight. You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Heath Ledger's Joker. Gotta just say that, and now we can move
Yeah.
on.
Yep.
It's like one of the only superhero movie Oscar nominations.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, for
that
performance.
and Joker.
For performance,
And,
yeah.
like,
The funny thing is,
yeah.
actually, Heath Ledger and Joaquin both won an Oscar for their Joker performances. So they were not
crazy.
just nominated; they both won. And Jared Leto was not even nominated.
He won as well.
Jack Nicholson?
Jack Nicholson.
He
Where are my
won.
Jack Nicholson fans
Jack
at?
Nicholson might have been nominated,
Where are my Nicholson boys?
but I'm not certain about that.
He
Anyway,
wasn't.
it's possible. You never know.
I do.
Nicholson Oscar nominations.
Guys, we've got 15 more
Yeah,
years
we
to
gotta
go.
we gotta keep
We
going.
got 15 more years. I don't think
That's
true.
post credits. We'll talk about Jack Nicholson.
Okay,
Yeah.
so 2009 is that what we're on?
9.
2009.
2009.
9.
Inglorious
Star
Fantastic
Trek.
Mr. Fox. All right.
Very fun, very different.
Yeah.
This is.
I was gonna say Fantastic Mr. Fox, but then I felt like I should pick a different thing, so I did Star Trek, which I love watching Star Trek. That soundtrack,
Oh,
that
so
soundtrack. The soundtrack for Star Trek 2009 sends me into space. Like it's
so
it's
good.
just perfect. Yeah, this was a big year for me as well. So it was hard to narrow this down. I had to bump Revenge of the Fallen down the list.
Oh, why would you even consider
man.
having that on the list?
Because it's a fun movie and I like it.
I actually have never seen it, so I can't judge it.
It rocks. Okay.
Is that number 2 in
Anyway,
the Transformer?
That's number 2. No. But I'm done talking.
Fantastic Mr. Fox. We've talked about it before. I'll talk about it again. It's one of the best movies ever made. Its humor is perfect for Jared, at least. And every time I watch it, I had just so happened to watch it the next day as well.
Yeah.
Because I just want to watch
Because
it
it's
again.
so good. I'm going to agree with you on that one. I don't know why I said Inglorious. I love Inglorious. However, Fantastic Mr. Fox, I definitely like more. So I'm changing my answer to that.
Welcome
Wow.
aboard, brother.
And that's.
It was also hard for me to not say 500 Days of Summer or Moon.
Yeah, that-
Moon being one of my favorite sci-fi movies that exists.
Yeah, I've heard that one's really
But-
good, but I haven't ever seen it actually.
It's dope.
Cool.
I'd watch it with you. Paul Blart Mall Cop also.
Oh, yeah.
Blah, 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 blah.
2010.
Inception.
Scott Pilgrim
Pilgrim.
versus the World.
Yep.
Nice.
I was on the border of Scott Pilgrim and Inception. Those were my two.
Me too.
And I ended up just choosing Scott Pilgrim for no real reason.
I
Another
I
Edgar
went
Wright. This
entirely
is Niles'
based
fourth
on.
Edgar Wright.
This is my fourth Edgar Wright. This is also Edgar Wright's fourth. So he's got a
We're
pretty
4
good
for 4,
batting
baby.
average. But I really do think the reason that I picked this over Inception is purely because I've seen it way more times. And I think that maybe is an indicator of I like to watch it more. Also, maybe an indicator that it's easier to watch.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
easier to find a time to watch Scott Pilgrim than it is to find a time to watch Inception.
I do
but
love
Yeah.
Inception. Though.
like Inception is like they are right there,
Yeah, I
neck
was
and
gonna
neck with
say.
each other for me.
I might
so.
change as well, but for now, Scott Pilgrim and Inception, they're both great. Who's going to complain
Yeah.
about either? I love
Yeah.
watching both those movies.
Yeah, love Inception.
Yep.
Me too.
All right.
2011.
Deathly Hallows Part
Fast
2.
Drive.
No way you said Drive. No way.
No
you just
way.
Said Drive.
How did you say 5 when there's definitely, like, objectively a better
I'm
car movie?
kidding. I was
Okay.
joking. Yeah, the better car movie is Dark of the Moon, Transformers 3.
Fast
That is
5,
true.
baby.
It probably is a better car movie.
The best in the franchise.
Fast
the best
Five.
it's
No,
gonna get.
I'm sorry. I keep saying joke answers. Dark of the Moon is also not the answer. It is Warrior for me.
Oh, interesting.
Nice.
Let me just rebuke what you just said, Jared, because how dare you expect there not to be a one that's better? Who's to say
Oh, that's
Fast
true.
X
Sorry,
Part
sorry,
2?
So
Whoa,
far.
so far.
So far.
So far. Okay, there we go.
Oh
There
my!
we go.
You are so right. I am sorry.
Is Fast X Part 3 or Fast X Part 2?
You
We
almost
don't
got
know.
me. Yeah.
We don't know. Fast
Yeah.
X Part
Thank
1
you.
was
To
pretty
say.
close to edging it out, so...
Also, the studio still has not confirmed that that's a trilogy. We're
I
still
know.
just going
Off
off
of
of
Vin
a thing
Diesel's
that
word.
Vin Diesel said in one interview.
What it might be is The Rock's movie that he's maybe counting as that. Regardless, I hope it is 3 parts, excluding
Yeah, me too.
but plus The Rock's movie, which would be
I
kind
want
of a
them to call it
4-part
Fast
finale.
X 1.5.
No, what if it's Fast X, Fast XX, and then Fast Triple X, and it's a
A crossover,
crossover
with,
with
Triple
Vin
X.
Diesel's
That
Triple
would be
X character?
cool.
That would be cool.
That would be pretty sick.
That would be sick.
Anyway,
All right.
I already kind of briefly mentioned Deathly Hallows Part 2. I love Harry Potter. That's
Oh, yeah.
similar to how Niall said movies that can just like suck you in and make you want to live that. This was the only Harry Potter I put on this list, even though I was alive for all of them. This one was the one that I remember the most and I think is my favorite. And it is kind of a good year for it.
Yeah.
Runner
it
up
is a
would be
good
The
year.
Muppets. I love that one as
The
well.
Muppets is great. Warrior, tale of two brothers that fight, and man, oh man, this movie just makes me so emotional. Even thinking about it right now, I'm like, whew. Breathe slowly, gather yourself, Niall.
I've actually never seen
But-
Warrior. I
Dude,
do
we
need
should
to
watch
watch
it.
it. Yeah, I'm down. Okay, here we go. 2012 Django
21
Looper.
Jump Street.
I knew yours would be 21.
Yeah.
This year was so hard for me, dude.
Yeah, this one was kind of hard for me as well, actually.
First, real quick. I had to pick 21 Jump Street for this year because 22 Jump Street, which is I like more,
Oh, interesting.
came out, guess what? 2014.
Oh,
and there's no
my
way I'm
gosh.
wasting that
Yeah,
spot.
that's
So I
crazy.
had to represent it. I do really love this movie. But man, yeah. I love the Jump Streets.
That's crazy. You
That's
like the second one more. I do really like the second one a lot, but I definitely like the first
Yeah.
one more.
No, there's some. I think the second one just gets me.
Yeah.
Like I laugh way harder in the second one.
Interesting.
My name's Jeff.
Yeah, that is from the second one. I love
My
the
name's
sequence
Jeff.
at the end, the whole credit sequence as they're going through like a billion different
Oh,
sequels.
all the
And I do.
sequels,
Some
yeah.
people make fun of the sequel jokes in that, but I love them. I think they're really clever and really well
Yeah,
executed.
It's done tastefully
Yeah.
too. I think like it's
Well,
not like
Even
it
the
feels-
first one's talking about it being a reboot.
A reboot, yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Yeah.
And so it's just so on brand for them to continue those.
Yeah,
That yeah.
totally.
And I like how much bigger of a role Ice Cube has as well in the second one because he is hilarious.
I said Looper.
Hmm.
It was a hard choice for me to make. There are kind of a big three this year that you guys didn't say either of the other two, so I want to mention those two as well, which is the Avengers and Chronicle.
Insane Chronicle.
Listeners of the pod will know I love Chronicle. That movie, just another movie that makes me want to live in that world. At least the first half of it.
I thought you were going to
before
say
it
Amazing
kinda
Spider-Man
turns.
1.
that's
No,
fine.
I wasn't. But the Avengers
kidding.
also, like, just what an awesome film event. That's another one of those things that, like, man, how long is it going to be until we feel the way we felt in that movie
Yeah,
again? you
yeah,
know?
seriously.
But in the end, I picked Looper because I think that it's just such a creative, original story. Time travel is such a hard thing to get right in a movie and kind of avoid all of the plot holes. But this movie is kind of set on, like, it's basically answering other time travel movie plot hole
Yeah,
questions
yeah. I
by
really like Looper.
by addressing this, and I think it's done in such an interesting and captivating way. And every time I watch it, I'm just amped about the next scene because every scene has something that just hypes me up. It's just cool.
Yeah, I need to rewatch it. I did really enjoy it when I did watch it. I think I rewatched it, or watched it for the first time in preparation for episode 8 because Ryan Johnson directed it as well. That was the last time I watched it, but I enjoyed it when I watched it that time.
It's good. Paul Dano.
I chose Django, which it was hard for me because there are like a lot of movies that came out this year that I really love. Life of Pi, Avengers, Django, Moonrise Kingdom, 21, Perks of Being a Wallflower, and Sinister all came out in 2012, and all of those I could have chosen. I ultimately just chose Django because that and Inglourious are my favorite of Tarantino's, and I just kind of wanted to have a Tarantino on here, I guess. But maybe it's Moonrise or Sinister. Honestly, 2012 was
Django
almost
is
like
so
a 2014 for me, where it was like very difficult to choose one because. Yeah. But ultimately, Django's the one I went with.
Good pick. Let's
see if this next year is the same.
2013 Prisoners.
Begin
World's
again.
End.
Oh yeah, Niall already said his. What did you say?
Yeah.
Jared?
I said Begin Again. This is not like a super
I haven't seen it.
popular movie and not one that a lot of people talk about, but it's one I watch fairly regularly, honestly, like once every year, every other year. It's another music movie.
Nice.
It's directed by the same guy who made Sing Street. And it's Keira Knightley and Mark Ruffalo in very like down on their luck, bad stages of their life, and they find common interest in music, and that keeps both of them from, like jumping in front of a train, basically.
Oh, this movie. I haven't seen it.
But it's good. It's not like the best movie ever, but I really am impacted by it, and I like it a lot. So
Nice. Cool. Yeah, Prisoners is
solid
Denis
pick.
Villeneuve, the guy who made Dune, Blade Runner 2049. This was his first time making a movie in America, and it is phenomenal because he's Canadian, and it is so good. I love it so much. I love Denis so much, and yeah, it's a brutal one. If you haven't seen it, it's quite the pill to swallow, but it is incredibly well made and it is very, very good. But if you don't like Jake Gyllenhaal, he is the main character, so if you can get over your false obsession with Taylor Swift to watch Prisoners, then do it, because it's better than anything Taylor Swift has ever made. I promise you that.
I said The World's End earlier. However, I will say that my backup movie was Iron Man 3, and I will not be taking any questions at this time.
Interesting. Backup Iron Man 3. Cool. Yeah, fine. 2014. Here we go. This is the year. This is the one.
Here we go, boys.
And I feel like my answer is wrong, but
here we go.
2014
with
Babadook.
Babadook. Interesting. You chose the Babadook. Wow.
I know.
Wow.
I was not expecting that at all. There are way better movies that came out in 2014.
Well, Niall's a big
man.
Babadook
Yeah, you're a big.
You know
you're a
that
big,
I love the Babadook.
You're a big
and it's not
Babadooker.
about the best movies. I think there are
That's
better
true.
movies.
Yeah, it's your
And
favorite.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
I almost my main other contender, actually, as much as I love Whiplash,
22
that
Jump
was my
Street.
number 3. But my main other contender was Nightcrawler.
Interesting.
Yeah,
What We Do in the
that
Shadows
was
also
on my
came out
list.
this year.
It even now pains me to not choose Nightcrawler and also to not choose Whiplash.
And
But the
22 Jump
Babadook,
Street.
man, is, I think that's where I rediscovered my lover, my
lover. You found her.
She was
Essie
there.
Davis, the lead actress.
Nice.
I found her. No, I rediscovered a love for horror movies via the Babadook, and it's one of my favorite movies to watch with other people that haven't seen it and then discuss afterwards. It's so nice. I love that movie so much. So it's my pick.
Cool.
Nice. Yeah.
Whiplash, Jared, you want to go ahead and take it away?
You sure?
What is there to say?
What to say
It's
about
so
Whiplash?
good.
Just go
Just
watch
go watch
it, man.
I love it. Rewatch it.
It is the
It's
whole
so
time.
good to rewatch too. It's,
Whew, the stress is building. Each frame a painting. You know that saying?
yeah, honestly. Let me just
Get to the end, and it's just relief. Release. It feels so good.
I'm gonna run down a few of the other options because truly this year
Please.
was insane for me as well. Grand Budapest, X-Men: Days of Future
Nah.
Past, What We Do in the Shadows, Interstellar, Guardians 1, Captain America, Winter Soldier. All those are so good, but
22
John
Jump
Wick,
Street.
Yeah,
Gone
John Wick
Girl,
1.
the Lego
yeah,
movie,
yeah, it's
Edge
Paddington.
of Tomorrow,
Paddington,
Paddington
Kingsman,
1.
The Secret Service.
yeah, 22 like
The Maze Runner.
Maze
Come
Runner.
on.
Yeah, Kingsman 1
The
came out that
Maze
year
Runner.
actually as well. Yeah, Birdman, also a great movie that I love. Foxcatcher, another one that I really like. The Imitation Game is another one that I enjoy.
Jeez.
It's crazy
Fury,
how many good movies came out in
Dawn of the
2014.
Planet of the Apes.
Also really good.
Wow.
I actually love that movie. I really, really do.
Truly, what a stacked year.
It's crazy.
Unfair.
Yeah.
How good that year was.
All to follow it up with
Sheesh.
2015, which was, fine for movies.
That's good.
Yeah.
that was good.
There's that movie.
Not
I like,
as good,
at
I
least.
would say. There are a lot of ones that I really love, but for me, mine for 2015,
2015.
Big
Creed.
Short.
Mad Max Fury Road.
Oh, all three of those are so good. Mad Max, I just rewatched. I love it so much.
That's so sick, dude. That movie rocks.
The Big Short is one of those movies where it's like you can watch that movie and just immediately feel like, oh, I'm smart now. I'm smart now because I understand economics, and I love it. I love the way that it's shot and edited, and like all the way that the story is told is done very effectively. I read the book, and the book I would say does it better. However, the movie is still excellent, and so I would recommend reading the book. I would say it does better in telling you the workings of what happened with the 2008 crash, but the movie is great. A great representation of showing you how.
That's
it
another
happened
one of
as
those
well.
movies that it has an all-star cast and is also perfectly cast.
Yeah.
It doesn't just feel like, oh, let's just get the biggest
Yeah, yeah,
actors.
yeah.
It's like the biggest actors also just happen to be the right choices. Like,
Totally.
I love that movie. Mad Max Fury Road. It's a simple movie. It's a spectacle movie. George Miller said that he wanted it to make sense to a foreign viewer without them having subtitles or dubs.
Interesting.
And I love that.
Yeah, I would say
I
definitely
think that is
is
that's
accomplished.
such a cool goal, and you can totally catch that. Like, you get what's going on. It does a great job at visual storytelling. It's very limited on the dialogue, but not limited on the edge of the seat action.
Yeah.
Creed is one of my favorite sports movies outside of like
Yeah.
Moneyball and maybe 42.
Also good.
Creed is just shot in such a good way where when you're like in the ring with Creed, and as he's fighting, you feel every punch as an audience member. And very few movies get me as excited as like the fights in that. And so
Yeah.
yeah, it's a great
You're
movie.
never gonna guess what year 42 came out in.
Same year.
2013.
Oh, 2013.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
I thought you were gonna guess 2014. Then I was gonna subvert what
I
you
was
said.
not aware.
Oh,
But
well,
whatever, fine.
I just
Anyway,
guessed the same year.
2016 pop star.
Hunt for the Wilder People.
I don't want to say anything.
You don't want to say.
I know what
I know
you're
what you're
going to
saying.
say.
Say
There's
it.
two.
Just say nice guys.
Just say nice guys.
I want to say Sing Street.
Say nice guys.
Oh, yeah. Sing Street is
But-
up there, too.
I have to say the nice
Say it.
guys.
There you go. You said it. We pressured you.
Sing Street was also on my list, so we can give it an honorable
Okay,
mention.
yeah.
What a perfect movie, dude.
Yeah, man.
Oh,
Well,
so
I'll talk about the nice guys. Truly one of my favorite comedies. That's it.
That's it. Same
It's
with Popstar for me.
perfect.
Popstar is one of my favorite movies of all time. Like, it's probably in my top 10 favorite movies ever. I love it so much.
yeah. It rules.
It's just
and
so
it's
good.
on, like, Hulu now, I
Yeah,
think.
yep.
So you can just
watch it. It's not even an hour and a half. It's so.
That'll be the first time I watch it without Chinese subtitles at the bottom of the screen.
I know exactly.
From
From
pirating
pirating it. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate to admit it because I love that movie so much. But when it came out in high school, I was
Yeah.
not a wealthy man.
Dude, where are you going to find it? Yeah.
However, I do own it on DVD.
I got.
Yeah, you
I
support
said
it.
Hunt for the Wilder People. Solely, this one beat Sing Street solely because
It's your favorite movie?
I never had an answer for the question, what's your favorite movie, until I saw Hunt for the Wilder People.
Yeah.
And that became the answer to that question. I'm not sure if it still is the answer to that question. It's definitely still up there. But that movie just makes me feel amazing every single time.
It makes you fizz.
I'm fizzing.
I've seen it before. It's gross.
Yeah.
2017, we ready?
Oh, me fizzing.
2017
Blade Runner 2049.
Baby Driver.
Thor Ragnarok.
Thor Ragnarok, great one.
Nice.
Yep.
Got a spread.
See, now we're getting into these movies that we knew each other during, kind of, maybe
Yep.
not quite, but we at least were in high school together during this
Pretty
period.
well. Yeah.
So these are a lot of movies that are fresh on our memory and are also quite
Yep.
good.
Baby Driver, another Edgar Wright.
Is that the fifth one?
Yeah.
Holy
Nice.
crap.
I love it.
Dude, I'm not ashamed to admit it. Here's the thing. I was thinking about that because I was like, man, I have a lot of Edgar Wright on here. Now realizing I have every Edgar Wright on here up to this point at least.
Yeah.
Well, the only one you haven't put on
but-
is Soho, then, right?
But it wasn't like, okay, I'm going to go and add an Edgar
Yeah,
Wright
yeah, it was
movie.
just-
It's just I would look at the list and I was like, oh, well, that was my favorite one from that year.
Yeah.
And it's an Edgar Wright, you know? So,
Nice.
Yeah. It was between Thor Ragnarok and Paddington 2.
Nice.
But I've seen Thor Ragnarok more.
Yeah, I do
And so I
love
just
Ragnarok.
Figured I'd go with that one.
That one
It's
is
super
awesome.
funny.
good call.
And yeah, it's always a good time.
Yeah, mine is Blade Runner 2049, which is one of my top 10 favorite movies of all time. It is another Denis movie, the second of three that I have on my list. It's great. I think it's better than the first one. The visual style is amazing. It is what got him Dune as well. So
Yep.
it's part of him like getting that movie was he wanted to make it partly because he loved Blade Runner, but also because he wanted to have more experience with sci-fi before making Dune, and this was really what kind of put him over the edge. He had a great portfolio. He was like, hey, I made Arrival and Blade Runner, so let me make Dune, and that's exactly what happened.
Sweet.
2018, I feel like we might share as well, but we'll see. Actually, we'll see. 2018 Avengers Infinity War. Wow, it was all the same. Nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
Did you think I was going to say Fallout?
I thought Fallout. Yep, I thought Fallout or Spider-Verse. Yeah, so.
Yeah. There's... yeah.
My two other big options, were Bo Burnham's Eighth Grade, which is so
That
good.
one is great.
And Hereditary, which I've only seen once recently, but is
So good.
just about as good of a horror movie as you can possibly
We got
make.
to experience that with you for the first time. We being
Yeah.
Ian and Britton and I,
Yeah.
which was fun.
I won't ever
But-
watch that.
You should though.
It was
it's
rough.
good.
It was
dude.
rough.
I
I
will
don't know
never
that you
watch
should.
Since
I don't
we
know that
watched
you
it,
should, but-
we will always just be yelling a Paragon and Zathany at each other and get out.
Zathany. But
it's a good movie.
Infinity
It's
War, dude.
so good.
That was
That was the event.
the most united I have seen the American people since
Ever.
Pokemon Go came
Oh,
out.
that's a good comparison, actually.
But
Yeah,
we were
truly.
I drove around with my roommates blasting the Avengers theme in Logan the day of the premiere, and we would drive past people on the street, and truly without fail every single group of people we passed would turn and like "Ah!" like cheering at us, and just like everyone was so hyped, dude. It was insane.
And the best part
Yeah.
about it is that it lived up to the expectation. That's
Yeah.
it was so good. It's,
Yeah.
I love Infinity War so much, and I will still rewatch it and just fizz with delight. It's,
Yeah, you fizz so much, bro. Yeah, man.
I am fizzing.
I was thinking about it. Fallout is like my favorite action movie,
Yeah.
but Infinity War, every scene, every change into like a different set piece with new heroes, I'm just like, oh,
Well, it's 'cause-
come on. Like, how do you beat
it's because it
that?
did what it
It's
promised.
unreal.
It did what it
Yeah.
promised in that they were setting up these movies since 2008's Iron Man, and they actually pulled it off with bringing them all together and giving you an unexpected stories, but still highlighting the heroes you wanted to see. It just was everything you could have possibly wanted out of that movie.
It was so
And
good, dude.
Marvel, it's just never
I
going to
mean-
happen again. I truly don't think it will ever happen again. Because
No
the
way.
other thing was,
No way.
Phase 3 leading up to it was full of bangers. Black Panther was great.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange was great. Civil War was great. Homecoming was great.
Yeah.
All these
Thor
great Marvel
Ragnarok.
movies. Yeah, Ragnarok also was Phase 3. All these great Marvel movies leading up to Infinity War, and then Infinity War just paid it off in just the best way.
Yeah.
And so,
Perfect.
Yeah.
yeah. It's a bummer.
But I think that also walks us into
2019.
Knives
Avengers
Out.
Endgame.
Yeah, Endgame was a very. I only chose Endgame just so that I can have. I didn't choose Endgame just to vary it a little bit,
Yeah.
because I had Infinity War before, but I could have chosen it and it would have been.
Yeah. I had a couple on this list, but Endgame is like looking at the list now. Even I'm like, yeah,
It's Endgame.
none of those other ones are competitors for me.
Yeah, for me, I said Klaus. I can see myself watching Klaus every year for the rest of my life.
Nice.
Yes.
But
Same.
I don't know if I'll watch Endgame for the rest of my life.
Sure.
You know?
I do love Endgame.
Klaus
But both made me
rules.
cry.
Yeah.
Both made me cry.
I will
Yeah.
say Endgame was a great. I do like Infinity War more, but Endgame was a great follow up. Like it really did what it needed to. It was just kind
Yeah.
of.
Yeah.
I have no problems with Endgame. Honestly, I love Endgame. So
Yeah.
I just like Infinity War more, just because of I don't know why, but yeah.
Yeah.
Knives Out was my choice though, and Knives Out is
Yeah.
That's a good
honestly
pick.
when I rewatched Knives Out, I was like, this is so good. I loved it way more than I
Yeah.
remembered. It's such a good, it's such a well told movie. I think it's just so well written. The dialogue is so succinct. It's funny. It's just great. I love it.
I'm just glad that society gave Ryan Johnson a second chance.
Yep. And he is doing well because of it. He made a ton of money off of that
Yeah.
one, and he's made a ton of money off of Glass Onion, and the third one, I'm sure he's making a ton of money off of.
Yeah. Shout out to Ford versus Ferrari, which was my runner-up.
2019 was a great year for movies as well, actually. All the movies nominated
Yep.
for Best Picture that year were, like, excellent.
Yeah. I also had 1917 and Jordan Peele's Us on
yep,
that
also
list.
came out
I loved Us.
Yeah. Marriage Story, Parasite also came out that year. The Irishman, The Lighthouse, 1917, John Wick 3.
Yeah.
Jojo Rabbit also came out that year.
Freaking Parabellum, dude.
Parabellum.
Oh yeah, JoJo. That's good.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
good year. Cool. 2020. We're in our current decade.
2020.
2020.
We're in the end game
We're
now.
in, we're in the truly end game now.
All right.
And we're in podcast year now.
We
Right? We started late
Podcast
2020.
year.
in
I
2020.
believe we
Yep.
started
November.
October of 2020
did.
or September.
Yeah.
around
I think
there.
November 2020.
All right, guys, we
All right.
caught up.
2020.
Soul.
A
My
Quiet
octopus
Place Part
teacher.
2.
Interesting choices
Nice.
from all three of us. My Octopus Teacher, I would not have expected that, but
Yeah.
No.
I
I've heard
think
I've heard it's great. Yeah,
it's
I
probably my favorite documentary I've watched. It just is
Nice.
really kind of relaxing, makes me want to change my life, and I think that's what a good documentary
yeah,
does.
totally.
Rock
Totally.
on. Love it.
Yeah, mine is Soul. I think that's one of the better Pixar movies of the recent years. It really just moved
Definitely.
me. I loved it, and it
Yeah,
was just really well made. A close runner-up for me was Palm Springs, another Andy Samberg movie that I love. But I think Soul was
Yeah.
the one.
Quiet Place Part 2.
Great, yeah.
Movies were so back
Oh,
with
totally.
that movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
In theaters. I remember seeing that down in Cedar City with Jared.
Nice.
And that first 5 to 10 minute sequence,
So good.
I truly was just kind of like blown away. It already
Yeah.
was amazing, but the fact that that was the first movie back in theaters for like
a
in
lot
a
of people,
long
yeah.
time, it was something special. For
Same
sure.
for
so
me.
I that movie is always going to have a very special place in my heart for more than it just being an awesome movie. you know?
Totally. That was one of the few times when I watch a movie and I feel like I want to use the diary function of Letterboxd to actually recount my experience or the
Yeah.
thoughts. And I reread that review recently as I was going through these, and I was like, I'm so glad I wrote my feelings because it's just encapsulates exactly what you're talking about with how cool that was. Hey, I'm allowed, okay? I'm allowed to sometime feel.
Look at this nerd has feelings.
Wow.
Shut up.
All right.
Next year.
2021.
Dune. I knew it. Yeah,
Yep.
that's another one.
Saw that
I
coming from
saw
a
that.
mile away.
Wow, what a film.
What a film
Man.
podcast we have.
If you want to hear our thoughts, go watch our Dune episode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
seriously.
I watched the Gom Jabbar scene today.
Dune. Oh, I can't wait for Dune 2.
I used the soundtrack today in Dungeons and Dragons.
So, for those of you that might be concerned about Dune 2 being pushed back, like I am/was, it is very unlikely that it will get pushed back because of something Niall talked about with us today earlier, which is that it has an exclusive run for 6 weeks on IMAX screens, which is a huge thing that if they were to push it back to 2024, a lot of those weekends are, like a lot of those weeks are already booked out. And so the only way they're going to have that theatrical run in IMAX, like that window, is if they keep it where it is. So I hope that it stays.
And with them seeing the performance of like I guess Oppenheimer and Barbie did have their own like self-promotion going on of like just people doing it, but still I think they saw like, okay, those are still performing. If we can just get it in IMAX screens, it's gonna perform.
I think you're totally right.
And they
Because it's like,
So,
what is really truly like? What is Timothy Chalamet going to do to promote Dune that it's not going to do for itself already? I don't know who they're fooling.
Dune is self-promoting
Exactly.
as well.
If
So,
anything, they're going to promote, like they're going to push back like the Marvels, not Dune. So yeah. Anyway,
For sure.
we love Dune, and we're on to 2022.
this is gonna be a hard one for
Ooh,
me.
Yeah, this is a good one.
2022,
The Batman.
Top
Batman.
Gun Maverick.
Yep, another very hard one.
Top Gun Maverick is a good
That was
pick.
a great movie. I love that movie.
Did you both say the
We
Batman?
did. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's such a good one as well.
The Batman and Dark
It's
Knight
so
are
sick.
the two, DC Batman movies on here, and they're the two
I
best
have
ones.
3 Batman movies on my list, so
Well,
that's pretty sick.
Well, I'll tell you what. I had zero expectations for Top Gun Maverick.
Oh yeah.
They announced it like 8 years before, and they're like, "Oh, we're making a sequel," and I'm like, "Cool." And then I just figured it
Stop,
kept
yeah.
getting pushed back because
COVID,
it wasn't
whatever.
going to be good.
Yeah.
And then it started advertising and stuff, and I was like, I'm not even going to go see it.
Yeah.
And then everyone saw it and was like,
You must.
I just watched
see
that
it.
movie 4 times in theaters. It was so good.
Yeah.
And I was like, bet.
Really?
All right. I'll
Yeah.
go. And I went, and I had just one of the most thrilling theater experiences of my
Dude, it's
life.
so cool.
And my idea of what masculinity is changed. Being a man means being Miles Teller now.
Yep.
In that movie.
Yep.
That's hilarious.
So,
Get yourself a Hawaiian shirt and a wife beater.
Yep. Or
and
just
then
It's
aviators,
it's
a
Miles
mustache,
season,
and a
baby.
mustache, yeah.
a mustache,
and
just
just
the
rippling
best body
abs.
ever.
Oh, dude.
Just don't eat food for like 8 months.
Unfair. That
Miles
is
Teller
'cause-
to us is friggin'
Brad Pitt to the
Uh,
90s,
yeah,
Brad,
Brad
Pitt.
Pitt to,
Brad Pitt
to
Fight
Glenn
Club,
Howerton. I was going to make that
Yeah.
exact thing. It's like that's the new era of okay,
Brad
so
Pitt
that's
Fight
the
Club, yep.
standard now.
That's the standard for men
That's-
everywhere.
Yep.
That's how we have to look. Oh, amazing.
But the
So
Batman,
good. The Batman, it's Batman in his real comics glory
Truly,
of being a detective. And it feels somehow, even though it's a lot kind of maybe sillier and goofier in a lot of ways than like the Dark Knight trilogy, feels somehow more realistic to me.
Yeah.
And
Somehow more realistic, but also that there could be a supernatural side to it. Like it feels like there's
Yeah,
like that world also
100%.
existing. But yeah,
That's why I'm still really pulling for the Mad Hatter. in the
Mad Hatter
second
would be
one.
cool.
I know it's not going to
Mr.
happen.
Freeze, I think, would be so cool.
Yeah, Mr. Freeze would be cool. I just want Mad Hatter to be behind the teardrop drug that's like going
Oh,
around
yeah,
in
yeah,
the
yeah.
Batman. There's like a drug that's kind of happening that they just mentioned.
it could be that.
I'm like, I want that to be the Mad
It could
Hatter's
be him.
thing.
It could be
I think that
Scarecrow.
would be
There's
sick.
so many options they have to build. out
Scarecrow
that
would
world.
also really work.
I'm really excited. I'm excited for the Penguin show as well, which I
Same.
hope will be cool. But
I-
push back because the
There are
strikes.
not a lot of TV spin-offs that I get stoked on, and that one I'm like, yeah,
Totally.
I'm in. I'm on
Yep,
board.
that one I
So-
do not think will get pushed back because the release date is already so far out for Batman 2. It is October of 2025, so we still have 2 full years, over 2 years until that is supposed to come out.
Yeah.
But I'm still
and especially like I want to just guess something real quick, because that's what Matt Reeves did the first screenplay, I think, by himself.
I think he co-wrote it with Matt Tomlin, which is the guy.
Oh, okay. So that's a little different then, because I was gonna say, if it's his own thing, like, yeah, there's a lot of writing that's gonna stop, but also like, with a project that means that much to a dude, like, he's still probably gonna.
He's
like,
gotta gear
work
on
on
it.
it
Yeah,
here
he's
and
just
there.
not.
You know,
I think the
like-
idea is that they're probably still writing. They're just not submitting drafts.
Exactly.
They are not supposed to be writing, but they probably people, not them specifically, but just
Yeah,
people.
it's
in
like, what are
general.
you gonna do? That's your passion.
That's
That's,
your
what
career,
you want to
yeah.
do, and you
'Cause-
the movie's still gonna happen, so you want it to be
Exactly.
good. So like, I just that's I don't know, maybe post credits type talk, but yeah. Anyway, the
The
Batman,
Batman.
2022.
Yep, I love it. Are we gonna do 2023?
Last up.
Whew.
Yeah,
We have
gotta
to.
do it. We gotta do this.
So
year.
far.
This is a loaded
so far,
year.
Yeah.
This is a
so
loaded
far,
year.
and it'll be hard to beat. So
Yep.
2023.
2023.
Dungeons and
Oppenheimer.
Dragons: Honor Among Thieves.
That's
Really?
your favorite. I do love it though.
Well,
That's a good
totally
pick.
agree that it's
I,
great.
th- I think Oppenheimer was kind of destined to be good.
Yeah.
You know, just a lot of talent.
Of
Okay.
course, it's
But
D&D
I think
had
Dungeons
no right.
and Dragons was just had no right to be as just well thought out and well executed as it was. It was truly just a fun time in the theater with, you know, both times I saw it with different people, and so I just had a great time. And there's so many movies that I just was blown away with this year,
Same so
You know,
far, and we're barely
everything-
halfway through.
from Barbenheimer to Puss in Boots 2. You know what I mean? Like
Blackberry.
everything
like,
I saw
Across
this
the
year was
Spider-Verse.
just yeah.
We've had a stacked year.
What a
so far.
loaded year.
Yeah, and we've still got Dune Part 2. We've got Killers of the Flower Moon, which is Martin Scorsese's new movie. Napoleon,
Yeah.
which is the Ridley Scott Joaquin Phoenix movie that looks great. Like, there's still a ton of stuff coming out that I'm really excited for. That I'm also
for
hoping
sure.
does not get pushed back.
Yeah. But like Across the Spider-Verse was probably my main contender with Oppenheimer. But honestly, the fact that it still is like cliffhangery, I'm just kind of like, all right. I think that the Spider-Verse like duo ending is probably going to be really high up.
Yeah.
But just having a movie that ties itself together so well like Oppenheimer does, it's hard to put something above that for
Totally.
me. I loved it so much. And Across the Spider-Verse, Beyond the Spider-Verse, it no longer has a release
I
date.
saw
it didn't
that,
even
yeah.
get pushed back. They took it off the calendar.
Indefinitely, just because they don't know when they're going to put it. I am going to bet it's going to be 2025. I bet it's going to be pushed
Yeah.
back a long time, and we're not going to see the conclusion to that. I just am bugged that they have such a huge cliffhanger, knowing that it's going to take that long.
Yeah.
Whatever, so be it. I'll watch it when it comes out. There's nothing I can do about it. But
But,
anyway,
yeah.
that was a long episode. I think that might have been our longest episode.
We did it.
Or very,
It's up
very
there.
close to being our longest episode. But I had fun. I thought this
Yeah.
was a fun episode. It was a lot of talking, not as much questions, but I still feel like the audience at home could have interacted very well with this one. Because you
Hope
could have
so.
been playing along or have just made a list of your own, which I hope you do. Because it, like Niall said,
Yeah.
like we've kind of been talking about, it was a really fun thing to do.
I loved doing
I'm
that.
sure I'm going to continue as I watch movies from these years. I'll be swapping them in and out the longer I live, and so on and so forth. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with this. I had a lot of fun with this episode, and I hope you guys did too.
I did.
I'm so glad. I think our post credits will be shorter,
did.
but I have an idea for a game that'll be fun. Just
Do ya?
'cause-
Is it?
Ooh,
Should we
okay.
look up a quiz of Jack Nicholson?
No.
Facts?
Should I say what the game will be, just to give a little tease in case people maybe want to use
Yeah,
that?
make people that aren't paying for the Patreon feel like they're missing out.
So your
Yeah.
$3 could get you access to us playing the game, which is predicting what our favorite movies will be for the next few years.
Yay!
Well, we don't have to do that. That's just
A
a
game.
basic idea. If you guys don't like that.
I was just being a jerk.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, so we're just not gonna do post credit. We're just not gonna do Bono. I actually have to go. I
No,
have a
of
job
course
interview.
we
I'm just
will
gonna go
do
to
a
bed.
post
Sorry,
credit
guys.
for these following people who this week gave a shout out to Kel with us. That is Michael Polonsic, Eslav, Britton Inkley, Riley Allen, Ian James Martin,
Thank you.
sorry, and Hannah Steed. Shout out to Kel.
Thank you very much for your support. You
Shout
can
out to
support the
Kel from
pod
all
if you
you.
don't want to throw some dollars by sharing it with your friends, by rating it 5 stars on your podcaster of choice, and just by continuing to listen. We love that you listen. We love your support, and we will see you on another Man Kid Movie Night Monday.
Let's play
Goodbye.
a game.